A very good afternoon, all of you guys. This is your educator, Shruti Sharma, and we have a session today on the topic Getting to Know Plants. This is one of the chapters of grade 6 science, and we are going to know about plants and its parts. What are the functions that they perform? What is the role of plants in our life? So we are going to talk about all of that. So let's be interactive. You can start writing in the live chat. I will keep on seeing whatever you are doing. So here we go. First of all, before we begin, let's know about your educator. This is Shruti Sharma, a well-qualified and experienced science teacher. I have an experience of teaching for over 12 years on various platforms. I've been the part of some of the very renowned institutions, schools of Delhi NCR region, and apart from that, I have also been associated with some of the private institutes where I have taught online and offline. So till now, I have mentored thousands of learners for so many competitive exams, school exams, and so on. Apart from that, I love to read, I paint, and I am also fond of traveling. So you can follow me on unacademy.com, and my referral code is SS08. You can use that to take subscriptions. So let's know more about Unacademy first. Now, you must be very clear what Unacademy is. It has become so popular these days. Yes or no? So, it is one of the India's largest learning platform. How many of you agree that it is India's largest learning platform? Yes, it is, and it is becoming very, very popular these days. So, and it is not just largest, but it is also fastest growing. So now, what is so special about Unacademy? It is an online platform where you people have the live sessions with some of the best educators in the field. We have live practice questions sessions with educators, and not just that, we also organize weekly quizzes and live doubt clearing sessions. So, isn't it nice? But how to learn? You can learn anytime and anywhere. You can sit in the comfort of your home and you can just use your mobile or your laptop and you can start learning. For that, you need to either download the Unacademy Learning app, which is very easy to download on your mobiles, whether it is whichever type of phone you have. So now, and apart from that, you can also go to Unacademy website. All right. So we have different types of courses that we have. May I know who all are there along with me? You can write down in the chat box. So now, this Unacademy, it provides free classes where each one of you are welcome. One of you is welcome to come and learn. But there is one plus course also, plus subscription also, which is the personalized subscription actually, where you people have access to almost unlimited content. There are so many courses, so many classes, so much of reading, learning material which is there for you, and you can access anything or everything. So that is there. So that is the benefit of having the plus subscription. You can actually have the access to all the recorded lessons of the educators which have been recorded earlier or which are being like scheduled now. So I would recommend you that you please go for plus subscription. It is really a very beautiful platform where you can learn endless. You can actually start from scratch, and you can actually become the master of it. So any course, anything, and let's go by the key line, that is, let's crack it. Now, what are the features of this Unacademy Plus subscription? First, as I told you, that, hi Tarun. So, first is that we can learn live from the comfort of your home. That is, again, one of the best things that we can have. Then we can have unlimited access to all the courses. There are so many courses which Unacademy offers, that we are offering CBSE courses. We also have courses for all the competitive exams, like for IIT, JEE, like you have NEET, so many of them, UPSC. So most of them are there. So here you people can have access to all the unlimited courses, and you are being taught by top educators of India on one common platform, that is Unacademy. And then we have exhaustive coverage of syllabus. So depending upon your need, depending upon your requirement, the courses are beautifully designed by the educators, and we exhaustively cover the entire syllabus depending upon the course that you have taken subscription for. And then we have regular doubt clearing sessions. It's not that we are teaching you online, so we are not there for you. We are there for you all the time. We do have doubt clearing sessions after 2 or 3 classes. We keep a particular session where all the doubts of the learners are cleared. And then we have live test series, so you get to know where do you stand. All right, how much have you learned and how much more efforts you need to put in. And then we have study material also, which is readily available for you, like in the PDF format. All the teachers, educators, they are actually uploading their notes, which again they are really very nicely designed for you people. So they are there in the PDF format, which you can access. All right, and then it's not just that we are only teaching you, we also tell you that how you have to prepare for the exams, like how you need to write down the answers, what are the ways to study, what are the things that you need to take care when you are appearing for a certain exam. So we do have answer writing sessions. And not just that, we also provide mentorship and guidance. So we are always there for you, like a buddy, like a friend, like a teacher, like a mentor, like a guide. And we guide you what to study, how to study, when to study, and what to study. So I hope you must be convinced enough to take subscription for Unacademy. It is really beautiful platform, and you can go for it and you will never repent. So now when we come for the pricing plan for 6, 7 and 8, we have different pricing plans. For example, if you go for 1 month subscription, you have to pay 2500 rupees a month. But if you take the subscription for 6 months, then the fee becomes 1667. That means it is quite economical. You have to pay just 10,000 rupees for 6 months. And when you go for 12-month subscription, it reduces to 1250 a month. So that means if you take the subscription for a longer time, it becomes more economical for you. So I would recommend you, why don't you actually take subscription for the entire session and just check yourself so that you can recommend your friends also. So here, and if you go for 60-month subscription, that is actually costing you 800 rupees a month. That is actually nothing. So you people can go for any of these subscription as per your need, as per your requirement, and the rest of the things that you can manage. So now SS08 is my referral code. You can use that and you will have beautiful discounts. You can use this code for the discount on this fee as well. This is already very low, but still you can have a discount on this. So this is about the Plus subscription. Now let's talk about today's topic, which is getting to know plants. Let me know who is there with us. Anyone who is there? So here you people can keep on writing. Now, what comes to your mind when you talk about plants, when you think about plants, when you look at plants? Have you ever visited a garden? I am sure that you must have. So what do you feel? Don't you feel good when you are surrounded by plants, greenery? It gives you such a nice feeling, isn't it? So now why these plants are so important? Why these plants are really they should be there around you. And you know that if plants are not there, we cannot survive on this planet. So they are that important. Okay, so you can also share your experiences with me in the chat box here. Now, when we talk about plants, you know that Earth is the only planet in our solar system which has life. Yes or no? I think you would agree with this. So far, we haven't come across any other planet where life is there. Have we? No. So till now we know only about Earth, and there are many conditions which Earth fulfills, and out of all those conditions, the one of the very important conditions that Earth fulfills is that we have plants. Yes or no? Because life is not possible without plants. Plants give us oxygen. Yes or no? Plants perform photosynthesis. They give us food. And when they are making food, in that process only, they also emit oxygen. So they give you two most important things to survive. That is food and oxygen, because we know that we get energy when food is broken down with the help of oxygen. So the food that we eat, the oxygen that we inhale, they are used, or they are reacting together in the cells of your body, and then it gives you energy to survive. So we can say that plants are really important. So this is one sample plant. There are multiple plants around you. Agree? Some are short, some are tall, some are bushy, some have lot of branches, some have few branches, some are green in color, some are little reddish in color, some are yellow in color. Agree or not? How many types of plants do you have around you? Tell me. So we can classify plants. There are multiple ways to classify. Now, this way that we are talking about here is the classification of plants on the basis of thickness of stems, and it is also on the basis of the place of origin of branches, that where the branches are present and how much thick a stem is. Are we clear? So now here we are. We have three such types of plants, which are herbs, shrubs, and trees. Now look at this picture. Now when you look at this picture, this is a herb, this is a shrub, this is a tree. Could you please tell me that what difference do you notice in this picture? Tell me. Tell me, what is the difference that you notice in this picture? You can see that herbs are very small. Then there are shrubs which are taller than the herbs, but they are shorter than the trees. And then there are trees which are very tall. So this is one difference that you can actually see. Then next is the thickness also. That here they are very less thickness, or very thin. Here they are thicker than this herbs. And then trees have very thick stems. Okay, and where the branches are originating from? Do they have branches? Do they originate from the base only, or do they originate after reaching a certain height? So basis on that, we are going to classify plants. So let's do that. Let's learn more about it. So here we go. So here we are with herbs first of all. So now what is the most important feature or the characteristic feature of herbs? They are green and they have frail stems. That means they're very weak stems. You can easily knock them off. You can easily break them. So these are very, very small plants with not many branches. Okay, there are not many branches in these plants, and some of the examples of herbs, you must be using it in your food also, and otherwise also while making tea, or otherwise we can generally eat them because they actually help us to maintain our immunity, to actually improve our immunity. Okay, so like rosemary, parsley, dill, some of the very common are basil leaves. Have you come across? You must have used it number of times. Mint leaves, they have a very nice fragrance attached to it also. Then we have spinach, coriander, which is dhania. I think every vegetable or the curry that we make, we put the coriander or the coriander powder to it. Thyme. So these are some of the very, very important and popular herbs that we have around us. So now all these herbs, what is so common about herbs? Let's quickly recap. They have green and very frail, very weak stems. Whereas if we talk about the branches, they are very small plants with not many branches. And do you know about the lifespan of herbs? They do not actually grow for so long. Their lifespan, it it could be few months, not more than a year, you can say. Okay, so these are there for just a limited period of time, not like trees which are there for so long, for years. Okay, so these are the things about herbs. I hope you all agree, or I hope you all have understood. Any questions you can ask me. Now, after herbs, let's move on to the next category of plants, which is a little taller. Okay, then herbs, and that is shrubs. Now, what is the important characteristic feature of shrubs? What is the important characteristic feature of shrubs? They are hard but not exactly thick stems. You can see that they are hard. You cannot easily break them, but they are. Why can't you do that? Because they don't have exactly thick stems. And then they have branches. Can you look at it here? That they have many branches, many of them. And they originate from the base of their stem. So if the stem is originating from here, so there are many branches which are originating from here only. I hope you are clear. Then we are talking about the height of shrubs. They are taller than herbs, but they are much shorter than trees. Are you clear? So they are taller than herbs, but they are much shorter than trees. Now, what are the examples of shrubs? Like aloe vera, like rose plant. I think they are very common and you must have seen it in your lifetime. You must be having it at your home. How many of you have it at your home? Tell me. Tell me fast. So here we have this jasmine plant, we have this blackberry plant. So all of these are shrubs. So you can see some of the pictures of shrubs. And if you talk about the lifespan, like we said, for herbs, it could be few months only, or a season, something like that. But here, when we talk about shrubs, it can go up to like 1, 2, or even 3, 4, or 5 years also. So it could be few years. Okay, so that is the lifespan of shrubs. I hope you are clear with herbs and shrubs. Now let's move on to trees. Now, what are trees? Trees are very tall. They are much taller than even you people. So they are very, very tall and they have a thick and hard stem. You can look at this. The width, the thickness of stems, and they are really very tall. Tell me which is the tallest tree that you have actually seen till date. Tell me. So we have these trees which are really very tall and they have thick and hard stem. Then there are few branches which originate. You remember I told you when we spoke about shrubs that they originated from the base. But here in the trees, they do not originate from the base, but they originate from the upper part of the tree. So that is what is different between a shrub and a tree. There are many examples of trees, like we have the neem tree, peepal tree, coconut tree, mango tree, multi-banyan tree. So there are so many examples of trees. And if we talk about the lifespan, you know how much is the lifespan of a tree? Tell me fast. How much is the lifespan of the tree? It could go for many years, like it could be even 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. You know, I have seen a tree. It is there before I took birth and it is still there. So I have seen it for almost my lifetime. And you know how old it is? It is almost 100 years old. So trees have the lifetime which can actually go for so long. So that is all the difference between herbs, shrubs, and trees. I hope you all are clear. Any doubts, any questions? Now, the next thing that we are talking about is creepers. So there we have spoken about herbs, shrubs and trees where we have actually classified them on the basis of their strength, the lifespan and the thickness of the stem. Okay, so now there are few of them like creepers. We call them creepers. Why do we call them creepers? You can look at this picture here. Look at this picture. They have soft, weak, and green stems. Can you see that? They are soft, they are weak, and they are green. and they cannot stand straight and spread on the ground. They really cannot stand straight and spread on the ground. And some of the examples are sweet potato, watermelon, muskmelon, pumpkin. You can see that. The stems, if you talk about them, they are so weak that they cannot stand upright. They don't have that much of strength that they can actually stand upright. So what happened? They are really low. They are actually on the ground. Okay, they keep on spreading. Actually, they keep on spreading on ground because of the fact that they are weak. I hope you all are clear with what creepers are. Now the next category that we are coming on to is climbers. What are climbers? What are climbers? Climbers are those which have soft and weak stems. Okay, they like creepers also, but what is the difference between a creeper and a climber? That if you provide support to them, then they can actually move up. You can see that how these stems are moving up. I hope this is clear. So this is a grapevine, this is a pea plant, this is a money plant. Money plant is really very common. Most of the houses have these money plants which are grown in the pots or in the vases. So here, these are some of the creepers. So what all things that we have spoken about? We have spoken about herbs, we have spoken about shrubs, we have also spoken about trees, and then we have spoken about climbers and creepers. Okay, so we have spoken about creepers and climbers. All right, so here we go. The next one is some of the questions which I would like to ask you people to test your knowledge, that whatever I have taught you, how much have you understood? So now there is this question which is, a wheat plant belongs to the category of, you have to tell me whether it is a herb, it is a shrub, it is a tree, or none of these. So tell me which one is the right answer to this question. Tell me fast. It is, yes, a wheat plant is a herb. It is a herb. All right. So now here we go. The next one we have is, please read it. In a mango tree, the branches appear. Where do the branches appear? Tell me. Where do the branches appear? At the base of the stem, higher up on the stem, nowhere on the stem, or none of the above. You must have seen the mango tree. You know, I have a mango tree in my compound. It's a beautiful, beautiful mango tree. So it actually has branches which are higher up on the stem. Are we clear? Now the next question is lemon tree. Lemon tree belongs to, which is actually not a tree. So lemon plant, you can say lemon plant belongs to which category? So tell me which category? It is a shrub. It is not a herb. Sometimes it can be a little taller than a shrub, but it is a little smaller than a tree. So it is actually a shrub. Now the next one that we have is, tell me, plants with green and tender stems. What do we call them? Are they herbs, creepers, shrubs, or none? Herbs. Can we have an example of a herb? Tell me if you can give me an example of a herb. There are many like basil, like mint, like coriander, so many. So now, next move on to the next one, which is, some plants have stem branching out near the base. You remember I showed you the picture. So these plants, they have the stem which are branching out near the base, and the stem is hard. It is hard, but it is not very thick. So what do we call them? Do we call them trees? Do we call them shrubs? Or we can call them either shrubs or trees, that is both, or none of them. So just think and let me know what is the answer to this. We can call them, right, we call them shrubs, like a rose plant. All right. So I hope you are clear. Any questions you can ask me here. Now the next one that we have is pumpkin plant. Is it a creeper? Is it a climber? Is it a shrub or a herb? I showed you the picture. I hope you remember. It is a creeper, guys. It is a creeper. Right. Now next move on to this question. You have to just match. You have to tell me that the pictures which are shown here, what do they show? Is it a tree, herb, shrub or a creeper? So this one, tell me what is A? You can write down here in the comment section. So this is a tree. This is a tree. It seems like a coconut tree. Yes or no? It's a coconut tree. All right. Then move on to B. Tell me what is it? It has a green tender stems, very weak stems, and it doesn't grow too long, tall. So now what is it? It is a herb. Right you are. It is a herb, which is a coriander. Okay. So now then we have this thing. Tell me what is it? It is a pumpkin. You can see that now it is a pumpkin. How many of you love to eat pumpkin? Tell me. So it is a creeper. So this is a pumpkin, which is a creeper. And then we have this rose plant. What is a rose plant? You can write down. Rose plant is a shrub. What is a rose plant? It is a shrub. Okay. Now, the next one that we have. Now we will be talking about the different parts of the plant. We have already discussed that how can we classify plants and what are herbs, shrubs, trees, or creepers and climbers. Now we will be talking about the different parts of the plant which are shoot system and root system. You know what are they? The part of the plant which is above the ground. Okay, the one which is above the ground, we call it shoot system. And the one which is below the ground, okay, which is below this line, below the ground, we call it root system. So now both of them are important because roots gives us, they absorb water and minerals, they go deep down into the soil, and shoot system is important because it contains flower, leaf, fruit, stem, and they are really good for us. Okay, they give us so many things, and they are like they perform various functions. For example, they are helpful in transpiration, they are helpful in photosynthesis, they are helpful in reproduction. Okay, so we will be talking about each one of them in detail now. Let's talk. Here we go. So as I showed you the picture of the shoot and the root system, so you can see clearly what all parts are there in the shoot system. We have the flower, fruit, stem, leaf, buds, nodes and internodes, which are the parts of the stems. And then root system, where we have the primary root and secondary root, which could be called the lateral root. Am I clear? You can look at the diagram and you can actually see that how we differ shoot system and root system. Now, let's talk about roots first of all. You know what do roots do? They absorb minerals and water from the soil. They also support the plant because they anchor the plant in the ground, because roots grow deep into the soil and they provide support to the plant to stand upright. Okay, there are some of the roots which even can come over the ground. Can you see that? Look at this extensive root system which is present here. Now, they also store important nutrients and food, which is very, very important, essential for our growth and the plant's growth. And then, most important, they prevent soil erosion. Why? Because these roots, they bind the soil so nicely that whenever there is wind, water, anything, then the soil does not get eroded. All right, so it prevents soil erosion as well. So these are the functions of roots. All of these are the functions of roots. That is, they absorb minerals, they anchor the plant, they store nutrients, and they prevent soil erosion. So that is it. Now the next one that we have is types of roots. Now, what are the different types of roots that we have? There are different types of roots. You want me to show you the picture? Now look at this picture. This is the taproot and the fibrous root. Look at this. Here we have the main root, one main root, and then here we have the fibrous root. Can you see that? Now what is the difference between them? Let's understand, let's read, and then we'll discuss. Now in taproots, there is one prominent long root and a bunch of smaller roots called lateral roots. Look at that. Here we have this one main root and there are several roots which are arising from this main root. Okay, so now what do we call them? We call them lateral roots. What do we call them? We call them lateral roots. So this is what a taproot system is. Now here, as you can see, that these roots, they go deep in the soil. So as they are going deep in the soil, they fix the plant firmly. And as they fix the plant firmly, it is very hard to pull them out from the soil. So that is again one of the important feature of taproot. Now look at this. When you look at the fibrous root, can you tell me, do we have one main root here? Tell me, do we have one main root here? No. We have multiple roots which are arising from the same point. They are multiple roots. Okay, they are multiple roots. So now in these multiple roots which are there, which are arising from the base, here you can see that they do not actually go very deep into the soil. There are many roots which are almost of the same length, you can say, and they do not go very deep into the soil. So here you have that is the main difference between taproot and fibrous roots. So group of roots emerging from the base of the plant, and as they are not going very deep, it is relatively easier for us to pull out. Like if you talk about the grasses, they have fibrous roots, you can easily pull them out. Yes or no? Have you ever done that when you go to the parks and all? We generally, many a times, if you have done that, you generally pull it out, though it is not a very good thing. So now they exist in plants with leaves displaying reticulate venation. So remember this, we will be discussing this point again when we will be talking about venation in leaves. Okay, so taproots are there when we have reticulate venation, whereas fibrous roots are there in the plants which have parallel venation. That means the veins are parallel to one another, and here they have network-like structure. Am I clear? So now here we are. Hi Krina, how are you? I hope you're doing good. So now we have various examples of taproots and fibrous roots. Now look at this. The taproot, which has one main root and so many roots arising from that one main root, which are lateral roots. And it goes very deep into the soil, so you cannot actually pull it out easily. That is again important thing. Then when we talk about the fibrous roots, there is no main root, there are multiple roots and they do not go deep down into the soil. So that is again one of the features. And I told you, fibrous roots are there with leaves with parallel venation. Okay, they have parallel venation. Whereas taproots are there in the plants which have reticulate. That means network-like reticulate venation. We will be talking about it in detail in the later on slides. Now, some of the questions to test your knowledge, how much have you understood? So tell me the example of fibrous roots. Where do we have the fibrous roots? Remember here I told you. So some of the examples of taproots, carrots, turnip, gram, China rose, whereas fibrous roots, banana, wheat, maize, onion, bamboo. So now you can answer this question. What are the examples of fibrous roots? Is it maize? Is it wheat? Is it barley or all of them? Tell me. So it is all of them. Right, it is all of them. Now the next one is plants having leaves with parallel venation. I told you, tell me fast. Just try to figure out which one is the correct answer. The tap roots, the leaves with parallel venation, are they tap roots? Are they lateral roots? Are they fibrous roots or none of these? The one which have parallel venation, they are actually having fibrous roots, always fibrous. Okay, tap roots are there when we have reticulate venation. So now the next thing that we are going to talk about is the stem. We have already spoken about roots. Now we will be talking about the part which is above the ground. Now what is the part which is above the ground? We have this part which is responsible for supplying water to all the parts of the plant, because it takes it from the roots and then it has to supply it to the upper parts. Then it bears branches, you can see that, flowers, leaves, fruits and buds. So we'll be talking about all of them in detail now. The root sucks the water and mineral from the soil. Okay, and the stem, it actually pushes this water upward to other parts of the plant. So that is what is the function of stem. I hope it is clear. Now, look at the stem. This is one beautiful picture of stem. Now, you can see what is a node. Now, this is actually the point, the part of the stem. It is a part of the stem where the leaf is arising. So that point, that part where the leaf is arising, so these are parts, they are called nodes. What do we call them? They are called nodes. And now the difference between, the gap between two nodes, you can see that here is the leaf, it is arising from this point. Here is again the leaf which is arising from this point. Now in between them, there is this gap which we call internode. That is called internode, which is a gap between two consecutive nodes. I hope it is clear. I hope it is clear. All right. So now where we go for the next thing, we will be talking about the parts of leaf. Now we know that leaf forms the very important part of the stem. So now here is the leaf. You can see that the stalk via which the leaf is joined to the plant. It is joined at the point which is called node, and here the part which is actually attached with a node, it is called the petiole. What do we call it? Petiole. All right. Then we have, hi Soumya, good afternoon. Now the next we have is lamina. What is lamina? This is the extended portion of the leaf, that entire green portion of the leaf where actually photosynthesis takes place. So this part of the leaf is called lamina. Do you know what do we call the boundary of leaf? Anyone who knows? What do we call the boundary of leaf? You call it a margin. We call it a margin. Okay. And then there is a tip, and these are the blades you can see. So this is the leaf lamina. Now in the leaf, you can see that there are many lines which are running through the surface. There is a design like structure which is made. Either they are forming a network like structure or they are parallel to one another, but they are these lines. What do we call these lines? They are called veins. Am I clear? These are called veins. Now, good afternoon, Ms. Gupta. So now here we have veins, and then they are very important in transporting water and minerals. All right. Then we have this midrib. You can see that this a little thick line which is going in between the leaf. Now this is a center portion, this is a middle portion, and it is a little thick structure. It actually prevents the leaf from breakdown. So this supports the leaf. So that is called midrib. I hope I am clear. There will be many questions. Hi Lisa. There will be many questions coming up. Why did you join the class a little late? I was expecting you to join earlier, but doesn't matter. Now I want you to answer the questions. All right. Good to go? Chalo. Next, we'll be talking about the functions. As we already know that leaf performs various functions, and out of those, the two essential functions that leaf performs, it is transpiration and photosynthesis. Tell me, do you know about, it's okay. Don't be sorry, but now just concentrate, okay? Now we have transpiration and photosynthesis. What is transpiration? It is a process through which plants release the excess amount of water in the air. Actually tell me, I want to know that how do these plants remove excess water? Do they have any pores on the leaves? Tell me, who knows that they have pores on the surface of leaves? And what do we call those pores? Anyone? There are these pores on the surface of the leaves and we call them, right, we call them stomata. And these, from there only the gaseous exchange takes place, like carbon dioxide gets in and oxygen goes out, but they also help in the removal of excess amount of water in the air. Okay, roots, now look at the picture. Roots absorb water. Okay, these roots they absorb water, and then from the stem it goes up, and as it goes up from the stem, some of the water is used in making food, because we know that photosynthesis uses water. So some of the water is used in making food, but the rest of the water is actually removed from the plant. It goes out of the plant by the aerial parts, the parts which are exposed to air, and stem is one of them, leaf is one of them. Okay, so unused water evaporates from the leaf surface. So this process is called transpiration. And you know why is it beneficial? It helps the plants to cool down. It actually maintains the temperature of the plant. Like when you, very right, Lisa, photosynthesis is a process in which plants make their food. Wonderful. Clapping for Lisa. Now, next we are talking about photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? As you have already told me, it is a process by which leaf prepares food. So now how does leaf prepares food? It needs some raw materials. So those raw materials, this portion we have already done in the previous chapter, that how photosynthesis takes place. So now, using carbon dioxide and water, which are the raw materials, in the presence of green pigment which are there in leaves, which is there in leaves, chlorophyll, okay, and using sunlight, the plants prepare food. So carbon dioxide, water, in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, they give you glucose, C6H12O6 plus oxygen. So this is important. It is a food which is there, which can be stored in the plant as starch. Okay. And they also give you oxygen, which is again very important for your breathing, for your respiration, for your survival. Yes. Oh, right, Lisa. Leaves are called the kitchen of the plants because kitchen is a place where we cook food. So in the plant where we have so many parts, there is one part where the food is being cooked, and that is called the leaf. So that's why we call leaf the kitchen of the plant. Right. Then we have these functions that we have spoken about, transpiration and photosynthesis. But have you ever seen transpiration taking place? Have you seen anyone? Now you can do this activity. Now you must be having some plants at home. So do one thing, you just keep the plant in the sun. And in the sun, what happens? The evaporation will take place. So now just wrap one of the branches of the plant or few leaves of the plant in the plastic bag as it is shown here in the picture. Okay, just wrap it around and you will see after some time the tiny droplets of water, and you can share it with me. Okay, so here these are actually the water droplets which are there that you would see, and it is possible they are seen because the transpiration has taken place. The leaves have lost water by the process of transpiration. Am I clear? Or any questions? Any questions? Or should we move on? Now, there is this question. I want you to answer this question. Moisture, right? So now tell me, answer this question, please. The question is, the process of manufacturing food by the leaves. What do we call it? What is the process of manufacturing food? We call it transpiration, we call it photosynthesis, we call it pollination, we call it venation. What do we call it? Is it Yes, it is photosynthesis. Right, it is photosynthesis. Now, the next one that we have, tell me. Right, it is also called moisture. So now leaves lose water through the process of. Leaves are losing water. I showed you in that plastic bag. The moisture, as you said, so where it loses the water from? Or by the process of photosynthesis, transpiration, osmosis, or none. What do we call this process? We call this process transpiration, right? We call it transpiration. Now, when we are talking about leaf, we have already spoken about the structure of leaf. Like we have this petiole, we have the lamina, we have the veins, right, Lisa? Then we have this vein, we have a midrib. Now, these veins, just nicely watch these two leaves which are there in front of you. What is the difference between them? Let me know. We have here the network-like structure. Look at this leaf. And here we have these parallel lines. Can you see that? If you zoom in the screen also, then also you people would see, but it is right clearly visible that these are these parallel veins which are there. Can you see that? So now here, that is the parallel venation, veins which run parallel to one another, and they exist in plants like banana, wheat, coconut. And you remember when we spoke about roots, what type of root system these plants have which have parallel venation? Taproot, or do we have the fibrous root? Right, you are. It is the fibrous roots which we have. They are having fibrous roots, right, opposite each other. So then we have a reticulate venation. So when we have reticulate venation, that means we have veins like network, like structure of veins either side of the midrib. This is the midrib, either side of the midrib. Then we call it reticulate venation, and it exists in dicots like guava, mango. And you know that here we have this reticulate venation in the plants which have taproots. Okay, they have taproot system. Right, banana, right, very right. So have you seen the banana plant, Lisa? Have you seen it? Have you seen the parallel and reticulate venation? Now, from now onwards, whenever you look at the leaf, any one of you, always just try to figure out what type of venation is it. The way you look at the leaf now it will change when you know about leaf. You know that what are the different parts. Just hold the leaf in your hand and try to figure out, try to locate all the parts which I have just discussed with you. I hope it is clear. I hope it is clear. Are you getting it? Understanding, Bache? Now, here are a few leaves, as I told you, guava leaves, mango leaves, which have reticulate venation. And then we have banana leaves, we have parallel venation. Yes, look at this. This is parallel. And here we have this one, which is what? Reticulate. So you guys are clear with stem, leaf. So what have we discussed? We have discussed what is the important function of leaf, transpiration and photosynthesis. Then we have also spoken about the different parts of leaf, whether it is petiole, leaf blade, or it is veins, the system of veins which is called venation. Then we have reticulate and parallel venation. So all of these. I hope you are clear with these. Right, you see all of them. Very good, Lisa. Very good. Now quickly answer the question if you see all of them. The part of the leaf which is attached to the stem, what do we call it? We call it a petiole, we call it lamina, we call it a bud, or we call it veins. The part of the leaf which is attached to the stem. Quickly let me know. The part of the leaf which is attached to the stem is called petiole. Right you are, we call it petiole. And the typical flower has a stalk. What do we call that stalk? The part which is attached with the part with which it is attached with a stem. We call it a pedicel. We will be talking about flower now. Okay. Now the small pores or the spores on the leaves, what do we call them? Stomata. Is it true or false? Tell me. Is it true or false? Right you are. It is a true statement. Now tell me, what are the small tiny lines on the leaf? Midrib, margin, veins or tip? What do we call it? Right. We call it very right. Good. Keep on answering. So we call them the small tiny lines on the leaf. We call them veins. Right. Very right. Now what is the middle line of the leaf? The one which goes in the center, it is little thick. Is it midrib? Is it petiole, lamina or veins? We call it midrib. Right you are. Now, okay. Now this is a thing that I have shown you. There are different types of designs which are there in the leaf. But what do we call those patterns or designs? What do we call them? We call it pollination, venation, lamination or design. Tell me fast. What is the answer to this question? The patterns of veins. We call it, right, we call it venation. Perfect. Now, we have already spoken about so many parts of the plant. Now, the next part that we are going to talk about is the flower. Okay. Now, I think you all would agree if I say that it is one of the most attractive part of the plant. Is it? Yes or no? Is it? Right, it is. It is one of the most attractive part of the plant. Now here you can see, no, it is not lamination, beta. It was venation. So now, most attractive part of the plant. Why is it attractive? Because it is bright, it is colorful. There are many parts in the flower, like sepals, petals, stamens, pistils. These are the main parts. Can you look at it? How beautifully they are there. So now we are going to talk about the parts of the flower. Let's read. So now the parts of a flower which are present in rings, we call them holes also. Okay. So now the first one is pedicel. We call it pedicel. Now this is actually the stalk that joins the flower to the plant. So if the plant is here, the one which joins this flower with a plant, we call it a pedicel. I hope you are clear with this. And the one over which this ovary is resting, the thick part above the pedicel, we call it receptacle. Okay. Now comes those green leaves, the small green leaves which actually protects the inner flower. Before the flower blooms, these are those green leaves which actually protects the flower. What do we call those small leaves? Green in color. We call them sepals. What do we call them? Sepals. Are you clear? In the flower, those green leaves. Now, whenever you look at the flower, I would tell you, I would request you that you people should actually give it a nice look. You actually read it, study it thoroughly. The parts which I am talking about, just try to identify those parts. That which one is pedicel, which one is receptacle, where are the sepals or petals. Okay. Now, then we talk about petals. You must have seen various flowers. Do all flowers have the same colored petals? Yes or no? No, they don't have. They are different colors. Okay, they are different colors. Some are yellow, some are pink, some are purple, some are red, some are white. So different colors, petals are there, and they are actually sweet smelling. How many of you like to smell petals? You do that? Generally, whenever we take the flower, we actually bring it near to our nose and we try to smell it. So because they are sweet smelling, they are of different colors. Okay, and because of this color and fragrance, it just not attract us, but it also attracts insects and birds. They sit on them and they also help in reproduction by doing pollination. Are you clear? Are you clear? So now let's talk about the two important parts of the flower, which are the male reproductive part and female reproductive part. Let me give you this flow chart. So in a flower, we have one, petals. Then what did we have? We had sepals, green in color. Then one more thing that we have is the male reproductive part. You know what is male reproductive part? Now, these are the parts which help in reproduction. These are the parts which are actually involved in fertilization. So, how to give rise to a new plant that can happen because of reproduction? So, for that, we need male and female reproductive parts. So, there are few flowers where in one flower only you have both the reproductive parts, and there are some where you have these reproductive parts in different flowers. So, if you talk about hibiscus, it has both in one of them. So, male reproductive part is actually called stamen. We call it stamen, and it is composed of anther. Hi Vikas. Hi Akash. It's okay, Akash, but I would like you to watch the session again. You can watch the session and now be interactive. A very good afternoon, Akash. So, stamen has anther and filament. All right. Whereas, if we talk about the female reproductive part, can you tell me which one, what do we call it? What do we call it? We call it pistil. There is another name to it. We also call it carpel. Okay. And it has three major parts. One is stigma, other is style, and the third one is ovary. Okay. The third one is ovary. So now let's have a look at each one of them and let's try to understand what function do they perform. Yes, Lisa. So Akash, you can also write down in the chat. So here we have stamen. I showed you the flower, you remember, in one of the classes. So these are stamens which are 4 to 5 or even more in number. Okay, now you can see that this is a male reproductive part, and each stamen has two parts. One is filament, this long tube, and then we have this anther. And you know this anther, it contains pollen grains. This anther, it contains pollen grains. Then we have the next reproductive part, which is called pistil. It is a female reproductive part of the flower, and this reproductive part that we have, this part has three parts: stigma, style, ovary. Now look at this. If I draw this part, you can see this part in the middle. Now this part, you can see this. This is stigma. It is actually sticky because pollen grains land up here, and these birds and all those insects, they can come and they can actually collect the pollen grains and they transfer it to stigma. They take it, or pollen can themselves, they can drop down to stigma. So it is sticky, which can hold pollen grains. Then we have this long tube which is going down from stigma to the swollen base, which is called ovary. Okay, this is called ovary, and this long tube is called style. I hope it is clear. Any questions? So this is what is called stigma, style, and ovary. So now what do they do? They are the female reproductive parts. These pollen grains which land up here, they go down, 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 and they reach the ovary. Here we have ovules also. Okay, we have ovules also. So now, then after the reproduction takes place, the ovules, ovules, they become the seed, whereas this ovary, it becomes the fruit. Always remember. So whenever you are eating fruit, it is actually the ovary of the flower that you are eating. And you know the seeds which are inside those fruits, these are the ovules. I hope I am clear. Any questions, any doubts? So now we have to, what do we do? Let's mark them. Who will tell me which is the first one? Tell me which is the first one. This part. Yes, this is ovary. Then which is the second one? The second one is here. It is the long tube, which is style. Then the third one, which is this top part, which is stigma. Right, absolutely right. Then we have these three which are called, this is the fourth one, and we call it pistil or carpel. Now let's move on to the 5, 6 and 7. The fifth one that we have is the anther, whereas the sixth one that we have is the filament. And these two together, they make the seventh one, which is stamen, which is a male reproductive part. Okay, so this is a male reproductive part, this is a female reproductive part. Now the next one that we have is eighth. Okay, this colored portion. Tell me quickly, which is a colored portion? This is petals. Whereas the ninth one that we have here, we call it sepals. What do we call it? We call it sepals. Now let's move on to the 10th one. Now the 10th one that we have, these are the ovules which are inside ovary. These are the ovules. Whereas the 11th one that we have, what do we call it? Tell me, this is a pedicel. Above the pedicel, what do we have this? This is called receptacle. We call it receptacle. I hope you are clear. Very nice. Good for, thank you for answering, Lisa. Very interactive you are. Where have you gone, Akash? Chalo, next. There are few statements which you have to tell whether it is true or false. So herbs are usually short and sometimes do not have branches. Is this statement true or false? Yes, it is true. In shrubs, branches arise from the base of the stem. It is also true. When we talk about trees, branches arise from the upper part of the stem. Yes, it is true. And then when we talk about stems, these stems absorb water and minerals from the soil. Is it true or false? No, it is false because it is the roots which actually absorbs water and minerals from the soil. Now, if we say roots hold the plant firmly in the soil, this is a true statement. Very good. Keep on answering. Now, next one is leaves manufacture the food in the presence of sunlight by the process of transpiration. Is it true? No, because the process is photosynthesis. Then, plants having leaves with reticulate venation have fibrous roots. Is it? No, it is a false statement because these have tap roots. Now, the next one is all plants have colorful flowers. No, it is not right because first of all plants do not have flowers. Okay, and then these flowers could be of different colors. So it is a false statement. Very, very good. Then the parts of a flower are usually present in rings or holes. Is it? Right, I told you, I showed you. Yes, it is a true statement. And last but not the least, that is, pistil is a female reproductive part of a flower. Is it? Are they correct? Tell me fast. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Pistil is a female reproductive part of the flower. Right, it is. It is a true statement. Correct. So, that is all about plants. So today we discussed that why do we need plants, why are they so important, what are the functions they performed. Then we have spoken about the different parts like root system and shoot system, what are the different types of roots like fibrous and tap roots. We have also spoken about the leaves, the parts of leaf, venation that they have. We have spoken about different stems, the parts of the stem, the functions it performs, and we have also spoken about the flower, the different parts of flower, the functions they perform. So I hope this chapter is clear to you. You can watch the video again and again, and you can write your doubts in the comment section. Hi there, how are you? Good to see you in the class. I hope you're doing good. So now that was a session on getting to know plants. So with that note, let's say goodbye to one another. Please watch the session and share it with your friends, and do take Unacademy subscription. Okay, and you can use my code SS08. It is really good. You can talk to the people who are having it and they would tell you their experiences. So have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful day ahead. Happy Sunday and keep smiling. Bye bye. You're most welcome, Lisa. Bye bye, Dharya. Bye bye, Akarsh, and all those who have joined. Thank you. Thank you so much.